I call this meeting of the Board of Parks and Recreation to order. I'm Michelle Cummings-Steele, Chair of the Board of Parks and Recreation. We'll stand now for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pursuant to the provisions of 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, please take notice that decisions of the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under a common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. Consideration of the minutes. Have you all had an opportunity to read the minutes for the December meeting? Are there any changes or, okay, seeing none, I'll accept a motion to accept.
So moved.
All those in favor? Any opposed? The motion passes. Metro Council referrals. Are there any referrals from council members present? Director Odom.
There are none today, ma'am.
Thank you. We'll move now to old business. 11-21-05. A lease amendment is requested for the property located at 7820 Coley Davis, parcel ID number 141-0000-7400, that Metro leases and subleases from the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation. The current lease with TDOT expires on December 31st, 2037. Metro has a need for a new mobile emissions testing site in the Bellevue area and requests the Park Board's approval of an amendment to the lease with TDOT to allow the site to be utilized for this purpose. Commissioner Hughes, the acquisition met this morning. Is there a recommendation?
Yes, this has been withdrawn.
Thank you so much. We'll move now to 1221-03. The Nashville Zoo Incorporated requests a recommendation of approval from the Parks Board to donate a 4.4 acre parcel of property, parcel number 133-000-14500, to the Metropolitan Government, as described in Exhibit 1 of the attached quitclaim deed. The parcel is adjacent to a parcel of property currently owned by Metro and leased to the Nashville Zoo in a lease agreement approved by BL 096-473 and amended by Resolution R98-1039. Attached, a proposed parking garage may be constructed across both of these parcels, and the current lease would be amended to include the donated parcel. The acquisition committee met this morning. Commissioner Hughes, is there a recommendation?
Yes, we unanimously approved this.
Thank you so much. We do not need a second for this motion, but I will accept a motion. Thank you so much. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion passes. We'll move now to the consent agenda. Director Odom, are there any comments?
There are no comments or amendments today.
Thank you so much. I will accept a motion to accept the consent agenda in its entirety excuse me. Any second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Moving now to new business. 01-22-02, the Percy Priest Yacht Club requests permission to base its regatta and other sailing activities at Hamilton Creek Sailboat Marina and to serve, not sell, alcohol beverages for 3 hours after each event. PPYC also requests permission to isolate one parking lot and launching ramp at Hamilton Creek from 6 a.m. to 12 noon for regatta dates March 26th, May 14th through 15th, June 11th, October 1st, and November 5th. Permission to serve alcohol has also been requested for the following Red Cup events: February 5th, March 12th, June 25th, July 23rd, August 20th, September 24th, October 14th through 16th. Request approval for camping on those dates, and December 3rd through the 4th of 2022. Director Odom, is there a recommendation?
Staff recommends approval.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Any comments? I'll accept a motion.
So I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. 01-22-03, the Nature Conservancy requests the board to accept an in-kind grant not to exceed $100,000 to fund restoration and cleanup efforts at Lytle Bend Park. This grant requires no match or other obligation from Metro Parks. No funds will be sent directly to Metro Parks. Director Odom, is there a recommendation?
Staff recommends approval.
Are there any questions or comments? I will accept the motion. Thank you so much. It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? The motion passes. 01-22-04, Middle Tennessee Pony Club requests permission for the 70th consecutive running of the MTPC Horse Trials held at the Equestrian Center of Percy Warner Park and waiver of fees for the 2022 season. Permission is also requested to serve and consume alcohol during the horse trials, competitor and volunteer receptions with competitors remaining in the park in their trailers overnight on October 7th and 8th, 2022. Director Odom, is there a recommendation?
Staff recommends approval.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments? Is there a second? All those in favor? Any opposed? The motion passes. Moving now to 01-22-05, staff to provide information regarding the WNSL field permit as requested at the December 2021 Parks Board meeting. Director Odom?
Thank you, ma'am. You have a document prepared by John Holmes at your place, and John is here to walk through this with you and answer any questions. Come to the podium.
Hello. You all had a chance, or have you all had a chance to read the letter, the answers? Does anyone have any specific questions? This year, we had actually, prior to all of this escalating as it's come along, my staff and I had sat down and looked at every permit to see if because it's an evolution. It's stuff, some permits were written under Mr. Fike, some under Tommy Lynch, and it's been a long time. They're not identical in the order, but they are identical in what each one contains. Based on what's occurred out at Warner, we feel like 2 additional clauses we're going to add to all permit holders for next year. First off, that any sub-renting, sub-permitting will require park approval. It will require staff approval. In addition, anyone who does that will be required to report on an annual basis how many times they've done it, what they're charging, and how much they've collected as far as revenue. And we can make that information available to the park board at the end of the year. The other one is we're going to add a clause to the permit that specifies that they can close the fields, and we want the fields closed, from October 30th to March 30 or April 1st, because in the wintertime, we don't want anybody out there anyway because it damages the turf. But between April 1st and October 31st or 30th, October, the only time that they can lock a field would be if they have worked the field for an event. If it has not been prepped for a game, then they cannot lock it. So they will be accessible to the public. Beyond that, the last question was in regards to the traffic, and at the conclusion of last season, we sent in writing to the permit holder at Warner that the master plan specifically identifies a number of fields that should fit on that property. And while we've exceeded that in years past, we're not going to anymore. It was designed for 4 youth fields, and that will be the maximum number of fields that will be permitted there for games. The baseball fields, the permit specifically addresses that they're only to be used for baseball anyway. The flag football, in our opinion, is one of the biggest problems. It's a great program, has amazing numbers, but in that constricted access area, it's too problematic. So we believe that with these restrictions, it should eliminate the number of people at the park by at least 40%, if not 50%. So that means the traffic should see a significant improvement next year. And with that, I'll leave it if there's any questions you all might have.
So I'm a little unclear, but by closing one field, you are reducing 40% usage?
No,
or 40% traffic?
They've had as many as 9 fields lined out there at one time.
Ah,
Especially when you add in the Heritage Field, because that had been lined for flag football as well. And so you could have as many as 9 fields out there with games going on a Saturday morning. Now, the most games on the multi-purpose fields would be 4, and then whatever baseball is going on.
oh, I see.
And baseball is separate, but the baseball permit, that annual permit specifies it can only be used for baseball. So we are going to hold the permit holder to that.
Okay, thank you, I understand now.
Okay.
John, the period between April and October, have the fields been closed up to this point?
Well, we try to. If you go by Elmington down here on West End, you'll see signs out in the middle. There's no way to lock that, so we put posts and signs up to ask people not to play.
No, what I'm
They
saying is
still-
when they can be open, have they been closed in the past so people couldn't access them?
You mean in the summer
Public-
months?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So
That
that's
has been
that's a
reported-
change.
That has been reported to us that has that has occurred.
I just want to make sure, the two things I think I'm hearing, as far as compliance is concerned. So, was the leaseholder aware that the field was only designed for 4 concurrent events? And that they have been intentionally marking it off for 9? Is what you're saying?
I don't think anyone had looked at the master plan closely enough to see that
Okay,
until this got to where
This
it is
review.
right now.
okay.
I know, I mean, if anyone's to blame, it's me. I mean, I
Mhm.
should have been aware of it. I wasn't. Now that I am aware of it, we fixed it, and we fixed it back in October, so. But of course, that's when the season ended, so then we haven't had the opportunity yet to see what the impact will be with these restrictions.
So define fixed.
Limiting the number of fields that can be on those, there's 3 pads out there. There's 2 adult regulation size soccer fields and then a smaller one. So if you were looking at it from that standpoint. With the flag football, they can fit, if they squeeze them close together and leave very little room between them, they can fit as many as 7 or 8 flag football fields out there right now. That will not be permitted in the future. So it will only be 4 fields, tops.
Okay.
So
And-
basically, we're limiting them to 4 games at a time.
So I guess I apologize, guys. I'm trying to understand how, like what's procedurally, if 9 have been happening, how are we procedurally ensuring that only 4 happen?
Well,
Is
we've
it
got-
just, is it verbally saying
We
that?
have put it in we will,
Okay.
it'll be part of their permit for one
Gotcha.
thing.
Okay,
That's something we will add to next year's permit.
okay,
We will put it in writing to the permit holders now, rather than go through redoing all the permits. We can just put something out to all permit holders now
sure.
in that regards.
Okay.
But, for that particular item, this is specific to that field or that property.
Mhm.
They've been notified. I have the email where I put it to them in writing back in middle of October.
Okay, perfect. And then to, Mr. Anderson's question about April 1st to October 31st. So someone other than a Parks personnel has been blocking access to the,
Correct.
okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Director Odom?
I'd just like to add, and make a recommendation, consistent with the board's request or the board's deferral of the review of the permit process to the policy committee. I would recommend that after the work of the working committee is complete, that the policy committee take up the permit process and full review of that. And I'll remind you that our members of the Parks Board are members of the policy committee, so I would recommend that, as a course of action.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Moving to special presentations, Nashville Parks Foundation to present annual update to the board. Thank you so much, and you have 7 minutes.
Start now. Thank you, Director Odom, Dr. Steele. Thanks for this 7 minutes. My name is Louise Bryan. I am the new president of the Nashville Parks Foundation. And I've got the best job in town because my job is to enhance the parks for everybody. I do this through philanthropy, of course, advocacy, and community engagement, part of our mission statement. Since 2015, many of you know some of the very successful projects that the foundation, excuse me, has put in place. Everything from Red Caboose Park, the steam engine preservation, Fannie Mae Dee's Park Dragon. We've also had money put in place for the Fort Negley Master Plan. But we should all move to Madison because the future park at Madison Station Boulevard is going to be incredible. It represents a planning that no other city in America has right now. The Watkins Pump Track is really a fantastic and iconic partnership. It had a series of partners that included Oasis Bike Shop, private foundations, and Mars Pet Care. The day after Christmas, my son walked in with 4 of his friends with their skateboards, and he says, "Mom, why is Warner Park so boring? We've just come from Watkins Park, and I really want one of these in the neighborhood." Our funding sources, as many of you know, started in 2015. We get a portion of ticket sales from Ascend Amphitheater. We also receive private donations from foundations, other partnerships, and general donations. The challenges have been enormous since COVID, and during 2020, we received 0 money from Ascend, but the opportunities are real. Ascend Amphitheater concerts are back. We have new leadership, an engaged and expanding board, and the parks are more important than ever. Open space, recreation, and nature has become more important to everyone's lives than we ever could have imagined. The parks are open every day. Open every day is something you're going to hear a lot about from the Parks Foundation. It's one of our biggest values that we have. Right now, we're generating awareness and building credibility with our donors. We're developing a business plan with diversified funding. We're collaborating with friends groups and building a model for all parks. I get asked a lot if we compete with friends groups. The answer is absolutely not. The goal is that every park in Nashville has their own friends groups. Our strategy is very much a business-to-business strategy. We look at friends groups as a way to increase local control, local oversight, and local involvement. And one thing we plan to do is have training sessions during the year on how individual communities can create their own friends groups. We also intend to embrace the allure of the Cumberland River while investing in deferred maintenance. We know that there are a lot of exciting projects on the Cumberland right now, but we also know that Metro has over $80 million in deferred maintenance. The Parks Foundation adds an enormous amount of value. The first thing we do, of course, is we provide the charitable vehicle for giving. We are the link between Metro and the donors. We advocate for Metro projects that can't be funded by Metro. We also advocate for donors who want to do something to Nashville but are not going to give their money directly to Metro Nashville. Our commitment is that we can get projects done. We have not been perfect at this. We've had some hiccups in the past. We're having some hiccups right now, but we are working very hard to figure out the best way to move forward. The most important thing that we do, the reason we're here, is that we provide the equitable support across all the neighborhoods so that Nashville is one Nashville and not that we are different types of a city. We provide businesses the bang for their buck, their investment, so that they can deliver to their employees and their customers. We can tailor a project to any type of business. If they want to give to recreation or wellness or green space or conservation or education or community building, I have a project that I can meet with a donor and I can get that done. A lot of you know that the media will show you that Nashville is the bottom right-hand corner. It's the river. It's the big, exciting projects that are going on. We've got, the Ewing brothers working on Riverside. We've got Oracle and their campus on the East Bank. We've got MRP Realty. But how many people have been to Bass Park? Bass Park is the smallest park in the metro system. 0.2 of an acre, over 100 years old, and one little red swing. But this is a very important park because it provides space for the firefighters to work out on sunny days. And I've been to that park. And these firefighters love this park. And on snowy days, they wait until it's warm enough to go back outside. I end with a slide to show that the Parks Foundation is for every single park and for all of Nashville. And I'm surprised how nervous I am talking about it because I've talked about this a lot, but I think it's become such an exciting thing that I'm working on that I've just kind of got nervous being up here. But I'd like to answer any questions. I'd like to listen to any advice you have. I'd like to hear any comments.
Thank you so much for your time today. It's very nice to put the face with the name. Congratulations on your role. Are there any questions from the board?
I was just curious what your annual budget is, just as a general number. I realize it was all for 2020, but just, how much money do y'all typically raise a year?
So, historically, from Ascend, we've gotten anywhere from $75,000 to $110,000. Again, last fiscal year, we got zero. We're literally waiting for the check in the mail right now from the 2021 concert season, because Ascend was open in 2021. I don't know. I'm hoping it's in the range of $75,000.
Like everybody, foundations and general giving and all that sort of thing.
Well, most of the money that comes in is all restricted, so it goes straight out. But right now our fund balance, right now our net assets are in the range of $400,000. Okay.
So how much is it per ticket we get, or the foundation gets?
We get 50 cents per ticket for concerts. And that's not for symphony events, that's not for the CMA, that's for about 22 concerts a year.
Do you have a report that you just gave you can give us, and also with all the board members would be helpful?
I'm sorry, report what?
Can you send us the report you gave, and then also who's on the board now?
Sure.
Because, we launched this from here. I don't know if many of you know or don't know that, in 2015. And directed the funds, just so everyone knows, directed the funds from Ascend to the foundation. So there's certainly a serious connect with the park board here. So I think we need a little bit more detail on every, on the organization, the report, and the board members would be great.
Sure. So. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll move now to capital projects update with Tim Nate.
Good afternoon. I'll just hit the highlights. In Centennial Park at the Children's Memory Garden, the contractor is starting demolition tomorrow, so that at long last is getting off the ground. At Hadley Park, I had hoped that that project would be completely finished by end of year. And we've still got a little bit to go, but they are in the process of installing the ceiling panels on the shelter currently, and then they need to finish the corner monument. So hopefully we'll be done there very soon. We've had some delays also on the Elmington tennis court refurb. We had the contractor do the painting there at the tail end of the season in the fall, and then it gets too cold to paint. But we have since discovered that there were some problems with that paint, and so they're going to have to repaint it, and we're going to have to wait for warm enough weather in order to do it. A new project on your list this month is at Warner Park, Woolwine entrance improvements. You may be aware that there was a fatal car accident at the Woolwine entrance a month or so ago, which is the entrance to the Nature Center. We have long advocated for relocating the main entrance to what is currently a three-way intersection at Highway 100 and Old Hickory Boulevard. That was formally adopted in a recent Warner Park Nature Center mini master plan that Friends of Warner undertook in coordination with us at Metro Parks. We have had meetings now with NDOT, who is taking lead on the scope of work for those intersection improvements in the right-of-way. And then we are pulling together revised documents for the portion of that mini master plan that would be associated with the roadway inside the park. In hopes that that can get funded and implemented soon and avoid future accidents. On Wharf Park, the master plan is moving forward, and we will have 4 different public events later this month. 2 public, traditional kind of open house public meetings, one at the Midtown Hills Police Precinct, one at Napier Community Center. We'll have a Facebook Live event, and then our consulting team is giving a presentation at the Urban Design Forum, in which we're co-hosting with the Nashville Civic Design Center, and Jackie's going to give you the details on all of those meetings. And those are the high points. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Moving now to upcoming special events with Jackie Jones.
Happy New Year, everybody. So it's really cold outside, but Metro Parks, as always, we still have it going on in terms of events. So for our January events, the first 2 that you have on your list, the Kindred Links by Omari Booker and Henry L. Jones in the East Gallery of the Parthenon. That exhibit goes on through February 13th. We had some discussion about that a few park board meetings ago, but I wanted to put that back on your radar to make sure, if you have the opportunity, to really go by and see that event. Booker and Jones are 2 of Tennessee's premier African-American artists. This exhibit specifically focuses on the heritage of North Nashville and the impact of gentrification. The second reminder in terms of exhibits going on at the Parthenon is Central South Revisited, 1966 to 1983. That's in the West Gallery of the Parthenon. This exhibit features award-winning artwork from the Parthenon's permanent collection. It tells the story of a regional art competition held annually at the Parthenon during the latter part of the 20th century. On January 14th, I know that everybody sitting in here is familiar with the Centennial Sportsplex. Their annual membership drive ends on January 14th. So if you're interested in getting fit, now's the time to do it, and do it with us at the Centennial Sportsplex. On January 15th, we have the Art of Keeping Honeybees. That's at 10 a.m. at the Shelby Bottoms Nature Center. This is an introductory conversation with local beekeepers and it's designed really for beginners and those people who are interested in pursuing beekeeping as a hobby. And on January 22nd, we have a musical theater one-day class for 8 to 11-year-olds. That will focus on acting, singing, and dancing fundamentals. Those interested can call our theater department for additional details regarding that. The focus is going to be on the Broadway show, The Lion King. So if you have a loved one that's 8 to 11 that's interested in dancing, theater, that type of thing, now is the time to get them enrolled for that particular class. Tim has already given you pretty much the highlights in terms of our second community engagement meeting for Wharf Park. The 3 dates, and if you'll turn to the back of your sheet, you'll see it listed there. January 19th from 6 to 7 p.m., or 7:30 p.m., I'm sorry, at the Midtown Hills Police Precinct. On January 21st, that is going to be the Facebook Live event. So at noon Central Standard Time, if you go to the Metro Parks Facebook page, then you will see the online version of the community engagement meeting for those people who, for whatever reason, would prefer to do it in the comfort of their home or their office. Then on January 22nd at noon, we will have the second round of community engagement meetings also at Napier Community Center. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Thank you so much. Director Odom, report of the director.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. As you all know, our offices and facilities were closed at the end of last week because of the winter weather event. And while operations resumed yesterday, we do have some operations adjustments in light of staffing levels and, of course, COVID. You all know COVID cases have increased across our community, and it's impacted us here at Metro Parks as well. And so our regional community centers will shift some of their hours. They'll operate from 6 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 to 12 on Saturdays. Neighborhood community centers will operate from 12 noon to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 to 2 on Saturdays. And then depending on what the COVID rates are and how we are impacted, we plan to move back to regular hours after the MLK holiday. Our other facilities in the system, nature centers, golf courses, sports flats, etc., will also adjust operations as we need to. As I've told you, for the past several months, we are like all other agencies and operations across this country and city are dealing with COVID cases as they impact us as a workplace and the staffing level, and then a large amount of vacancies. We are having challenges filling positions just like everybody else. So those combined give us a bit of a challenge, but we are working to adjust as we need to. Our after-school programs are operational. We have had low attendance at those for those programs that rely on transportation from MMPS, because we don't have transportation from any MMPS at this time. Those rates, those attendance levels at those centers have been low. For the centers where the school is in close enough proximity to allow the students to walk to the centers, those have been regularly attended, and we've had good attendance and participation there. We are monitoring our open gym times at community centers, given we don't have a mask mandate in Metro or capacity limitations. We are taking those protocols into under advisement. So we limit how many are in the gym, trying to make sure we do what we need to try to help folks keep safe. Again, I'll mention we are still in the process of filling positions and working to get positions filled. You know, there's a workforce shortage across the land, but we are hopeful that as we move into springtime and the upcoming months, that folks will be delighted to come and work at Metro Parks. The petition for the renaming of Hadley will be submitted for the June 2022 Tennessee Historic Commission meeting. You may have noticed that if you look at our website, a public notice has been posted on our website. There are a couple of other written publications where we must submit that public notice to comply with the requirement for inclusion on the Tennessee Historic Commission. So we expect that to be on the June 2022 agenda. The petition for the Confederate private monument, I believe legal's still working on that one and has enlisted support or help from some of our historians in the department. Staff is working to gather the information requested at our last working committee meeting. And I expect to get that information soon, and we'll reach out to you all, I will, or Mary, to coordinate our next meeting. So we can certainly reach our targeted date of March 30th to have a recommendation to the Parks Board. The FY23 budget kickoff will begin in the next couple of weeks. Deep breath. And while we have not received any specific budget instructions, we will later, but we have been advised that we will be allowed to submit budget improvement requests. Of course, those need to be justified and founded and performance-based. And we will also be asked to submit a 2% reduction scenario. That's in an effort, I mean, they did it last year as well, but that's in an effort to find efficiencies across departments. So if there's something that we're duplicating or a program or service that we no longer need or could shift to somewhere else, or is just outdated, to have us take a really good, thoughtful look at that. With that, I don't have anything else from my report. Are there any questions?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
I meant to ask earlier, what is the update on the boat docks on the downtown? I've gotten that from many people recently.
Absolutely.
Where are we on?
John? Can you get to the podium?
Lawsuit.
Can you get to the podium?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just takes a second.
Okay. I'm fine. I'm following your lead.
There has been a settlement in the lawsuit, and now the money is there, and now it's a matter of, there are more dollars involved, but it will be getting bids and actually, if Rick Taylor, do you have any?
And that's the West Riverfront, but we do have a contract in place for a vendor for
the East Bank. Is that what you?
I was asking for, actually all, but West
Okay.
is what I wanted to get an update on.
West is the one that was damaged by the
Right,
barge.
right.
And Wayne and Rick, do you have any update on the progress being made to repair / replace the,
Is the mic on? Okay. We are gonna have to do a bid. So we'll have to submit, a new design for new docks if we're gonna put new docks there. Currently, the docks that are there now are not salvageable, so they'll have to be demoed and removed from the space, from the shore, the bank.
Are we in process of doing that, or is it just
No,
a project to do?
we have met internally in discussion about the larger riverfront master plan, and we were wondering if we should proceed forward depending on what the larger master plan, we didn't want to put something in place and all of a sudden, wasting the money and then have to be relocated or removed on the bigger riverfront master plan. But as of right now, one of the things we do need to do is demo what's there and put that out to bid.
But, so the bigger riverfront master plan, is that even started?
No, I think that's just a large concept plan right now, so we don't know exactly what that's gonna look like.
Well, I think we should, I would ask we put on the short to-do list is demo and put some docks in there, because we'll be years away from getting anything in there if we don't do that. I don't think the whole master plan is gonna change where the water is and docks and things like that. I know that could, design-wise it could, but maybe they can work around that. But could we get a report maybe the next meeting on maybe a timeline?
We will.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Announcements, requests for future agenda items and open items. So we have the demo and addition of the docs. Do you want to give a report on where we are with the working group? Now.
No. Well, no, because we're still, we had a request out to the staff regarding current park utilization. And so we're waiting to receive that before we schedule a next.
Right, but the committee has met. We've had our initial meeting and.
Oh, yeah, and that was pretty much the outcome. So coupled with.
That's what I needed.
Coupled
For the
with
record.
Director Odom's recommendation about reviewing permits. So if you recall in that meeting, a lot came up. It was more than just what's going on in Warner. It was a larger concern about permits and park utilization. And so I appreciate the work that's already been done and those recommendations. And per Director Odom's suggestion, once we are settled on the current work group's task, we will then convene as a policy committee to review the recommendations already provided by staff and the permitting process in general.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Are there any other announcements, requests for future agenda items or open items? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to adjourn, unless y'all want to stay.
So moved.
Y'all have a good day. Motion, meeting adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.